Something huge is happening in the world of work right now. New research from SHRM, that's the Society for Human Resource Management, shows that companies are making this massive, fundamental change in how they think about talent. They're pivoting away from that frantic, endless search for new people, and they're focusing on something way more powerful, growing the talent they already have. And let's be super clear, we're not just talking about some minor course correction here. The source material calls it a profound metamorphosis. That means a complete transformation in how companies are thinking about their people, and honestly, how we should probably all be thinking about our careers. It really is a whole new ballgame. So, to really get this pivot, we need to quickly touch on the idea at its core: strategic human resource management. I know, it sounds a little academic, right? But think of it like this. It's about making sure every single people decision, who gets hired, who gets trained, who gets promoted, is directly connected to the company's biggest, most important goals. It's about HR moving from just a support role to being a real strategic player at the main table. Okay, so to understand why this shift is so important, we have to take a quick look in the rearview mirror. Let's rewind to 2024 and talk about the one single challenge that had pretty much every company out there completely scrambling: the intense, all-consuming pressure of recruiting. This chart tells the story perfectly. In 2024, the #1 priority for HR was recruiting. And look at that, it wasn't even close, 43%. You had more jobs open than people to fill them, so companies were basically in an all-out war for talent, just desperately trying to get people in the door. But here's the thing, this relentless focus on hiring from the outside, well, it wasn't the magic fix everyone hoped it would be. In fact, while everyone was so busy looking out the front door for new people, a whole bunch of really serious problems started brewing inside. And this number right here, this is the true cost. The data from SHRM is just stark. It shows that employees who had to pick up the slack from all those unfilled jobs were way, way more likely to report being burned out. A staggering 61% of them. So the hunt for new talent was literally burning out the great talent they already had. And this led to a massive, and I mean massive, perception gap. While you had 63% of HR execs saying, yeah, our recruiting is effective, only 41% of the actual workers agreed. That huge disconnect was basically a flashing red warning light that the strategy just wasn't landing the way leaders thought it was. Something had to change. And that brings us to the big turning point. After the absolute scramble of 2024, organizations finally realized that something had to give. This is what we're calling the Great Pivot, that huge strategic shift away from looking outside and instead turning the focus inward to the people who are already on the team. So this is the million-dollar question, right? After a year that was all about the desperate hunt for new talent, what's the new game plan? Where do companies need to put their time, their money, and their energy in 2025 to actually make a difference? And here it is. This slide shows the pivot in action. Just look at it. Notice what's missing? Recruiting. It's completely gone from the top 3 for both HR pros and for workers. Instead, there's this new agreement around leadership development, employee experience, and learning and development. The game isn't about finding talent anymore. It's about building it. But look, just saying you're going to focus on development, that's not enough. The SHRM research uncovered 2 really critical, maybe even overlooked factors that are the keys to making this whole new strategy work. One is pretty obvious. But the other, well, it's kind of like a secret weapon. First, let's just talk about the obvious one, the money. We saw that the #1 priority for workers is total rewards. That's the whole package: salary, benefits, all of it. With all the economic uncertainty out there, people are sending a really clear message. You gotta get the compensation right. You can't talk about developing people if they don't even feel valued in the first place. But okay, beyond the paycheck, the data points to this hidden engine, this sort of secret weapon that has a massive, and I mean massive, impact on whether any of these HR priorities actually succeed. I was actually pretty surprised when I saw just how strong this connection was. And this little number, this is the secret weapon. Now don't worry about the math class flashbacks. Just focus on what this means. This R value measures how strongly 2 things are related, and a value of 0.67 is, well, it's incredibly strong. It tells us there's a direct, powerful link. When employees think their company's HR tech is good, they also think the entire HR department is good. It's that simple. In the eyes of your team, good tech equals good HR. And this is where it all clicks.
that same powerful connection exists between technology and development. The data shows that if you want to be great at growing your people, which we now know is the new top priority, you absolutely have to have great technology to make it happen. It's the key that unlocks the whole strategy.
Okay, so we've got the what, the big shift to growing talent from within, and we've got the why, because the old way was just causing burnout. So now let's talk about the how. Because SHRM didn't just find the problem, they actually laid out a clear 3-step roadmap for companies to follow. Step 1 is all about driving excellence inside the HR department itself. This means building a smarter, faster, and more reliable operation. It means moving past gut feelings and using real data to make better decisions. It means being agile enough to change course when the business needs you to. And maybe most importantly, it means being held accountable for real results, not just for ticking boxes.
Step 2 is that classic airplane rule, right? You have to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can help anyone else. For too long, HR has been asked to support the whole company without getting the support it needs. So this means organizations have to invest in their HR teams by aligning their goals with the business, giving them that crucial modern technology we just talked about, and making sure the HR pros themselves are always learning and growing.
And finally, step 3 is all about closing that big perception gap we saw earlier. It's not enough for HR to just do good work behind the scenes. They have to actively prove their value. That means going out and getting feedback from employees. It means communicating constantly about the impact they're having. And it means using cold, hard data to show everyone, from the front lines to the CEO, exactly how HR is helping to move the business forward.
So when you boil it all down, it really comes to this. The great pivot from finding talent to growing it has to start from within. HR simply can't support the rest of the business if it isn't being properly supported itself. And that leaves us with one last, really important question to think about. Is your organization truly ready to put its own oxygen mask on first?